We've seen it in the movies time and time again, especially in animated films like Disney's Cinderella. Love at first sight. But some would argue that finding love like that is a fairy tale. It's too good to be true. Here to help us understand the idea behind this concept is psychotherapist and relationship expert Rhonda Richards-Smith. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you first, do you believe in love at first sight?
I do believe in love at first sight. Love at first sight is really exciting and appealing, of course, because everyone wants to avoid the uncertainty and the doubt and the worry that comes with dating someone for the very first time. So the idea that you can meet someone and connect with them right away is really exciting. It sounds romantic and very appealing.
Yeah, well, obviously. And there's a lot of shows on television that kind of go along with this concept, right? Married at First Sight, Love is Blind. Do you think this tells us, when you look at it in the world of television, that we can find love in unconventional ways?
It is absolutely possible to find love in unconventional ways. And the key more than anything is being open when you do meet someone. So if you are open to a relationship, if you're excited about uncharted territory and adventure and you're open, you're more likely to experience love at first sight.
Okay, but there are people that don't believe in it, right? They just say, well, it takes a while to get to know a person, right? At face value, you look at a person and go, wow, they're beautiful, they're exactly what I'm looking for, they're funny, but then you get down to the nitty-gritty details and you're like, well, it wasn't what it all cracked up to be. So what do you say to the naysayers?
Well, you never really know if it's love at first sight until it actually works out, right?
Right, so it doesn't exist.
Absolutely. And so the key is also love at first sight isn't always mutual. So that's something to really keep in mind. Dopamine is a really powerful neurotransmitter that we emit when we're attracted to somebody for the first time. So it can give you those butterfly feelings. It can make you feel nervous. It can sometimes make your stomach hurt or make you feel queasy. All of that is really the dopamine that's being excreted in our bodies. And that happens when we're attracted with someone. So that's biology.
Okay, so when you look at it, right, you're talking about the dopamine. Who says that they have found the one first? Is it more often men or is it women? And why?
Actually, studies have shown up to 41% of men say that they have experienced love at first sight, compared to approximately 29% of women. So we're seeing men saying that they are meeting someone for the very first time, that they're instantly attracted, that they're in love, and that love actually pans out.
Why? Why is it more so men than women? Is it because...
Well, as we know, right, studies have shown that men do tend to be more visual, but men also tend to be very concrete as well. And so if they are ready to be in a relationship at a particular moment in time and they meet a potential partner that they think would be a great match, they're more likely to do everything that they can to make it work.
Okay, so then you have that thing where you said that some people are in love before the other one, right? What happens then if you're the guy and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in love at first sight, and then you tell the person, do you tell the person? I mean, because you could scare them away.
You don't tell the person necessarily. More than anything, typically when it happens, you may have tunnel vision for that person. So you're very curious about them. You want to know everything you can. And if you're in a room, sometimes they're the only person that you can see if you are experiencing love at first sight. So the best thing that you can do is continue to pursue that person. And studies have shown that the 29% of women that do say that they've encountered love at first sight were more likely to experience great relationships based on how their partner pursued them. So if a man decides that he is in love at first sight, the goal is to pursue that woman with all of his might and strength, just as much as he can.
Wait a second, because then but are you coming off too strong?
Well, you don't want to come off too strong too soon, but you want to be consistent. Women love consistency more than anything. So showing a genuine interest, following up, initiating dates, right? Not letting the woman set the dates or set the tone.
Got it.
Really taking charge and showing that you have interest is really important.
I'm taking pages upon pages of notes here.
Don't make her guess. Don't make her guess. You want her to know for sure.
Right. Now, but here's the thing. If you say the word, when do you say the word? Because if it's, I'm not in a relationship, clearly I'm taking notes, but stop it over there. I'm just wondering, like, at what point do you say the word then so you don't scare the other person off?
You want to say the word when you're sure. And I think you'll never really know for sure until you give yourself the opportunity to get to know them better. As I mentioned, attraction can be incredibly strong and it can feel like you're in love, but the only way you know for sure is if you give yourself some time, if you give your potential partner some time to get to know you better and establish a really solid foundation. Once you have that and you know with 100% certainty, that's when you want to share that you're in love.
Yeah, and you got to make sure you're not settling, especially during the pandemic where you're like, you're meeting very few and far between people, right? Because they're just not out there in the universe like you want to be. And so you might be like, well, this is the best I'm going to do.
Absolutely. And it's easy, particularly this time of year with the holidays. Everyone wants to be
there's the holiday.
Someone. Yeah, and you want to be really careful and sure that you just don't want to be in a relationship. You want to ensure that you want to be in a relationship with this specific person, and that's really the key.
And past Christmas, right? Because you always have to have that person at Christmas time. Let's bring in OG and Marisol. I know they were laughing at me, but Marisol, I'm curious to know if you were in love at first sight, or if you believe in it.
Why do you have to peg this on me? I do not. Thank you, doctor, for joining us and setting the record straight for Mana, who's taking way too many notes. I do not believe in love at first sight. I believe in lust at first sight in Spanish. We say when you are like really into someone after you first meet them, oh, ella está enchulado, which is like she's just in lust with this person. And I think it comes over time. This is from a woman who has been in some pretty horrible relationships and has finally found a very successful relationship. He did tell me he loved me first, though. Sorry, babe, had to put you on blast.
Is there a question here?
Too.
And I obliged.
But doctor, just curious. Oh, did you have anything?
No. I was just wondering. I'm still thinking about how she said you walk into a room and the one person's the only person you see. I'm like, if that happens to me, I'm going to be like, something's wrong with my contacts. I have to go because I can't see clearly. You know what I mean? I'm like, I have never walked into a room and it's just one person. But I did see a delivery guy once that was really good looking. He walked past my car. I was like, seriously, God? It wasn't love. He was just too handsome.
That's my question.
I was just like, seriously, God? You made that? Like, you gave all of this to one person? And I didn't say it. It wasn't like love. I was just praising God for his work.
But that's my question, doctor, because you're right. But you said men were specifically visual, but women are visual just the same from OG's story.
Well, it was just one. It was the
better.
delivery guy. It was if you saw him, you would be like, God, really? One person gets all this? He was just too cute. It was just ridiculous. I wouldn't want to date him because it's too much. You know, I'm just saying. He's too. Yeah.
See, but Dan, here's the thing. Men and women make observations of attractive people, but men don't have as much chill as women do. We can scope out a hot guy and be next to our man, and our man would never know because we do it on the low.
Exactly.
Doctor, aren't you glad you joined us? We're just crazy.
I am.
We're just a crazy bunch.
Come back for more.
Thank you for breaking it down. We do appreciate it. Have a happy holiday to you, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, 10:25, everybody.
Thank you.
That was interesting. I mean, I got to say, it was very interesting.